I do. This lady right here actually works for the Faith Alliance for Employment Economy, and so she can hook you up. Hi, how are you?
To begin, if we can gather around so you can make sure you hear.
We'll have to be louder. Yes.
Would the bullhorn not be louder?
Do you want to try the bullhorn?
Okay. Sorry, we're about to start. Can you raise your hand if you can hear me fine? Thank you. Is there no one that can hear me? Cool. We're gonna do Hello, 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 hello. Yeah?
Still sounds echoey.
We can hear you fine.
We have to deal with what we got. Okay. Hi everyone. Thank you for coming. Can we get a round of applause or some noise? Woo! Yes, thank you. Hi everyone. I'm Jenny. I'm a volunteer with the Concord Immigrant Protections Network. We are a rapid response network being led by ULV, eBase, and Monument Impact with the support of Indivisible Resistors, who I know are here today. Woo! Yeah. And People Defend Coco, who are helping with security today. Woo! Shout out to them. Yes. We're all leading different initiatives to support our immigrant neighbors. SIPIN was created in response to ICE raids and heightened anti-immigrant rhetoric across the country, especially now if you don't know, or you will now know that there's a Concord immigration court here. This network seeks to be prepared in case of any escalation that would target immigrants in central Contra Costa County through direct service, organizing, and advocacy work. Woo! Thank you. So, we are gathered here today to honor Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, Juan Sebastián Durán Guerrero, and Juan Durán, who were fathers, workers, and beloved members of their families and communities whose lives were taken by ICE agents. Boo! Lorenzo was driving with his crew to a job site. He was not under investigation and was not a suspect. Juan Sebastián was a young father and a worker in Maine. He was not the person ICE agents were looking for, yet he was still shot and killed during an enforcement operation. Juan was struck and killed by a tractor trailer in Florida after running from federal immigration officers while vacationing in the US on a tourist visa. Their families and communities deserve the truth, transparency, and accountability. So we're gathered here today to mourn, to tell the truth, and to insist that no government agency is above accountability. We call for independent investigations, the release and protection of witnesses, and an end to local collaboration that enables ICE to operate without meaningful oversight, right?
Yes!
Yes. So may Lorenzo, Juan Sebastián, and Juan memories be a blessing. May their families be surrounded by love and protection, and may we have the courage to seek justice and build a country where every family can live without fear, right? Thank you. And before we start the walk, we have two speakers today. I want to present Raul Arana Jr. He is with United Latino Voices, and he's the Community Engagement Coordinator. Can we have a round of applause for Raul?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Raul Arana. I am the Community Engagement Coordinator with United Latino Voices, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Concord Immigrant Protections Network. First off, I want to thank everyone for taking the time for being here today. Your presence reminds us that even in moments of grief, our community continues to show up for one another. No loss of human life is easy, but it's when those lives belong to people who are simply trying to build a better life. It reminds us how fragile human dignity can become when fear outweighs compassion. And that's what brings us here today. As a son of immigrants, stories like these remind me why immigrants make the difficult journey of migration in the first place. To escape corruption and the unjustified killings by the very governments meant to protect them. Yet, for some, it seems like their sacrifices led them to a similar reality. At that point, the morality of it steps away from the light of politics. Someone lost a son, a father, a cousin, a loved one. As some try to dim the light of the impacts of these actions, it's important that our unification be the light that outshines the darkness. In my family, we have a saying, somos los que estamos y estamos los que somos. Meaning, we are the ones who are here, and the ones who are here are who we are. This event with you all is the reflection of that very saying. Every person standing here today made the choice to show up, not because it was easy, but because it's remembering that these lives matter. It reminds us that our presence has a meaning and that solidarity is something that we practice, not something that we simply talk about. Today, we remember Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, Juan Sebastian Guerrero, and Juan Jairo Duran, and the countless others whose names we too often fade from the headlines, but never from the hearts of the families and the communities they left behind. We also remember those who remain in detention, those who have been separated from their loved ones, and whose stories are still unfolding. May this vigil be a reminder that every life carries dignity, that every family deserves to be together, and that silence can never be the final chapter. As we walk together tonight, let us carry not only these crosses, but the responsibility of continuing to speak, organizing, and caring for one another. Thank you.
Thank you, Raul. And again, yes, a reminder. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the vigil. We cannot normalize ICE killings, right? That's why we're here today. Right? Yeah. I want to hear it with ooh. Yes. But yes, our next speaker and our last speaker is Reverend Leslie, minister of the Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church. Can we get a round of applause, please? Thank you.
I want you to give yourselves a round of applause before we start, because it's really important that we're out here today, being witness. And whatever we believe in, one of the things about this country is we have the right to believe whatever we believe. But whatever we believe, we are people of faith, because we are here showing our faith that we can have a better nation, a nation in which people going to work, people driving on the road, people taking a vacation, do not lose their lives. And not only their lives, but affects the lives of all their family members. So many family members affected by what's happening here today. So we are here to bear witness, which is a religious tradition in this nation. When there is something that is a moral outrage, we show up to say, no, we can do better. We can help make this change. So I am here, Reverend Leslie Takahashi, as the descendant of Japanese Americans who were incarcerated in World War II. And I want to mention that today because it was another time in which we allowed racial bias to provide a lack of security for some people in our nation, and we cannot stand out without paying attention. One of the hardest things about that experience was that people did not bear witness. So we bear witness. And what I want to say to you today in this time of lament is that we have our grief, because that's part of how we lament, and we also have our anger. And our anger is righteous. Our anger is righteous, my friends. And so I invite us to think about that, because the Human Rights Watch tells us that more than 50 people have been killed by ICE. We are holding these crosses with these beloveds' names on them. More than 50 have been killed by ICE since this regime took office. And we cannot fail to bear witness to that. And we must let this be the beginning of our actions. Let our anger be turned into action. Let us continue to flow towards the world we want to live in. Because there are people around this nation saying it is time to have an accounting of these actions. It is time to find out why these killings are occurring. It is time to find out who the people behind the masks are.
Yes.
It is time to take back our nation so that it can be a place where everyone lives in freedom and safety, and where children do not have to go to school worried that they might come home and not find a parent or a loved one with them. So we must do that. And what I want to say to you is that 2 weeks ago I was outside of the Delaney Detention Center, and 2 weeks before that I was in Dilley, Texas, where our families are being incarcerated, over 6,000 people being incarcerated. So what I want to say is there are people around the nation who are saying enough is enough, but we must continue to say it every single day.
Yes.
To those that we elect in this nation, and that those that we care about, because we are people of faith. And I ask us just in our own tradition to take a moment before we begin this sacred journey, this pilgrimage around this square, and just take into our hearts the names of these beloveds on these around us, all around us, the names of the people that we know, our neighbors, our friends, our beloveds, who are living in fear or perhaps have already lost a family member who is in detention. Let us please take these names into our hearts. We want to live in a world without hate and without fear. And we want to live in a world where we remember that whatever we have faith in, every form of that requires us to be the arms and the feet and the voices for justice in this world. So let us all look around and be blessed by the presence of these beautiful people. Thank you all very much for being here.
Thank you, Reverend Leslie. Yes. Wow. Do I want to take maybe a second?
Yes.
Yeah. A moment of silence? Yeah? Okay. Let's take a moment of silence. I was gonna go to the call to action, but I just remembered this chant if you want to do it with me. I learned this chant with my street drumming crew from back in the day, Boom Shake. It's a call and repeat. Let me remember it real quick. But yeah, I'm gonna say, don't worry, I got you. And you're gonna repeat the same, okay? So, don't worry, I got you.
Don't worry, I got you.
I feel that way too.
I feel that way too.
We'll get there together.
We'll get there together.
We'll make our way through.
We'll make our way through.
I said, don't worry, I got you.
Don't worry, I got you.
I feel that way too.
I feel that way too.
We'll get there together.
We'll get there together.
We'll make our way through.
We'll make our way through.
I said, don't worry, I got you.
Don't worry, I got you.
I feel that way too.
I feel that way too.
We'll get there together.
We'll get there together.
We'll make our way through.
We'll make our way through.
Woo! Thank you everyone. Thank you Reverend Leslie, and thank you Raul for your words. We really needed to hear that today. Again, we cannot normalize these murders by ICE, right? And so speaking of not just holding up signs, we got to take action, right? We have a call to action today before we take our walk of silence. I'm gonna have Neva and Glenda pass out a call to action. If you probably some of you heard this event through the Mobilize event. This is actually a vigil that is gonna be happening from today to Saturday across the United States. And there's calls to action, right? There's demands. And today we want to ask you to call or email Congressman DeSaulnier and tell them that we want a full and independent investigation on these deaths by ICE. We want the release and protection of the witnesses. When Lorenzo was taken, 3 men were taken along with him, including his brother. And so we're worried about their conditions, and we want to demand protection for all witnesses. We also want to end local government collaboration with ICE. And last, yes, yeah. What's up with the non-cooperation ordinance in the county, right? Right. And lastly, as our congressman, he has oversight and funding authority to hold ICE and DHS accountable. So if we can take a second, actually right now, to leave a voicemail, call him right now. There's a phone number on the flyer. Leave a voicemail, please. Let them know what's up. We're gonna give 5 minutes to do this, okay? Because we want to leave knowing that not only we're here together, but we're also taking action, okay? So we're gonna take 5 minutes to give a call.
So now the group is taking a walk around the farmers market here, led by Reverend Millie Phillips and other clergy.
What's the sign? Pick a sign. What's the pick a sign?